Okay, I'm gonna summarize this as best I may, based on the conversation I had with I today. Here with me? So the last 100 years has been revelations. This year will be 6 years away from our last historical repetition, which I'd like to invite you also to the idea, which we'll talk about more, that doesn't exist. Just for this moment, we're at zero. It's already happened. Here we are. Check this out. So in the 1950s, 1940s, 1930s, in that section of time, we have a great booming of information. This information was self-prophesized and driven by fear. Those doing it were the ones we were questioned by and continue to question here. Careful. Because somewhere around the 1950s and 1960s, we have another boom of information. This information is being delivered to us piece by piece. Like, every now and then, the invisible hand will throw in information for the biologist, information for the archaeologist, information for the ologies, plasmas, whatever. Magnetisms are being discovered through relativity and our greats and the beautiful minds. Those minds and the ideas have been used by people to be plagiarized, used for things that aren't so good. Also, to the ones who did that, did they really read the lesson? Because if you know you're capable of doing these things today, let me ask you, why are you doing it still? There's an interesting part of this I don't want to manifest because, again, as I said, you are better than that. Here's the deal. We're going to close this book when we're done. It doesn't exist. Though it does. I get it. This is for you when it's done, where it is. Because it has been done, and I'm going to explain. We have a lot of information here from professionals. I have multitudes of hours. For years, at least a decade, I've been absorbing it to make sense out of something that didn't make sense, which is not something we should do logically. And I love my logic today. To be rational, you have to know. To know, you need empirical, substantial proof. However, the information I have today says that we have been confused. Not now. This is to dispel that moment for you because it is logical. Always. Like we thought it was. It is. And I'm going to explain. The elements have been tossed in. Information gets mixed up. It's integrating. And the spit we made. And out of that, in the firmament of things, we have a fire. So, that's what this means. And it's here. And you can't put this one out. But they work together very well. And when water and fire come together, you get rain clouds. It's a temperature thing. So here's where astrology comes in, but not at a mystical level. Again, closing books that belong together. They all do. And I'll explain. Because it's a very logical thing. That's why we have the logos, Father Time. These are expressions of an idea that have precise calculations for how this exists. It is the creator. And be humble. I certainly will not take full credit. I am only telling you what I see. As I see it, and I'll also give you the relief when we're done. So while we're throwing all this information, I am one, the stars are one, the comets are one, war is one, peace is one. The two working together are one. To integrate all ideas is one, closing books is one, we all do it as one, we're one. To be with that process outside of us is one, has its own process as one, to be very fiercely unique into its own design. The quote-unquote mystery is, how did we connect to that perfectly in this world, and when did you know? Well, I know when I don't. I also know partially when I do, which is why I didn't take full credit yet, because I've been warned about this too. I want to level with what we're ready for right now, because if we do things too quickly, inappropriately, violently, with less tact, if you will, we will rush a process that ends the way it always does, because you weren't listening to the lesson. Take your time. Please. The slightest miscalculation with today's technology, if in the mind of Chernobyl had ever occurred, this could be a very serious problem. And it can be created in an average size house. I mean, that's the space it would reside in, but they have minds hopefully taking their time with these things. And that's what I mean, don't rush the Jetsons when we get to the 2030. But before we get there, back to the process we led up to. Gray minds, light, dark, light, dark, light, dark, light, dark. Sine, cosine, tangent. And then the heart. So, revelations to revolve. If you're spelling something, that speaks for itself. Because for 2,600 years, some of us have created this dialogue. You've also created, through a logical process, the connection to something illogical as well. It's ill with itself because it was rushing things. The rush is not coincidentally a problem. It's a side effect of fear. Also, brute force. Brute force is not going to win you the race, quote unquote, war. If you want to be raw with that, let's go back, because this is where it's at. So 1920, 1929, Great Depression, 1930s, we start to get a little fanatical with what becomes the elation of a mind that thinks it is creating something new. Anything that's already been, has 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 already been, and has already will be, and has already will been with you. So that's a revolution, something that revolves, something cyclical. We're going to break away from that. Again, I'm going to keep doing this just to get through it. In the 1950s, 1960s, we really start to evolve with our quote-unquote mystical sciences. They kept it secret for reasons that are a little bit more crude than we would like to admit. What they are doing today is trying to cover their tracks, meanwhile maintaining their positions, meanwhile not accepting the truth, also remaining where they're at, because that's okay. It's part of another process that they don't control today, which is the entire process, and their destination took them to where they will be during the cyclical part of this process as well. Santi, please go lay down. Thank you. So, thank you. The cyclical part of it is a bit of a placebo. That's the logical part of something that all of the sciences, theologies, plasmas, biologies, archaeologies, astrologies, kind of pertain to. The things that become hindrances, number one, the word itself. You created that world of whatever that is now. That's how you get away from it. That's psychology. And if you have enough of it, the logic. So with logos, we have space for this. From 0 to what we have now. You can label it with numbers. It's no different than the name. The name and the number is the same thing. It's an entity of its own creation. No different. So if I say 9, I've said the number in English. I've also said no in German. And it might be someone's name. Considering an operation in motion past our evolution into arithmetic from a future, again, revolutionary, not exactly, but it's evolving with the same concepts in motion. So these things go up and they go down, and they go up and they go down, and they go up and they go down until we rest with the information, which is what we're doing now. Because placebos can be dangerous. They're also very useful. You need to be the one driving your bus, first of all. And that's why I did the numbers thing with the name thing, because names will start at 0. That's logic. For some of us, I hope that's not a problem. If it is, try to breathe. It doesn't have to hurt. It just needs to be understood, which is why I'm explaining it this way. So 1950s. Again, we have all these things. That's not separate, but it is going to coexist with something of the mind that comes together for one single thing. The idea, which is what the number is, the name is, the play is, and that force, the unseen hand that delivers the things at just the right moments when it chooses, the great mover in motion. Not our control, but its control, which is separate. Though we're connected to it, not what we are entirely. That is bad logic, which is what you need to save yourself from. So I'm going to do that for us. Because if we go creating the lightsabers, and we go creating all the things that cause us to go into the Marvel DC universe, you're going to create the violence. And if you want to see the Civil War again, give everybody superpowers because they'd like to, we won't. And the reason is because we're not safe with it yet. We rushed into the information with our emotions, which is why 0 is important for neutral. Not because you're not in motion, but because you're here, the idea. And it's absorbing these ideas, and all these ideas come from a very small section of that motion also, which again is the great mover telling you, these are my words to self-prophesize what is happening right now. The best part is, no matter what you do, as long as you're speaking about it, you're in that process also. And when have you ever not spoken at this moment? Well, maybe before this moment, miles before the sound was ever created, or anything breaking down could be known for this moment. Which, coincidentally, not like the word, not like the mind, not like the body, not like the motion, not like anything, is in control. The mystery is your choice, your destination to not choose, or to be beat up by your choice. And there's elements here that help you with all 3 of those. The Trinity. but you gotta have number 1 to go with it. So 0. The unknown amount of time that it took to get to 1, which is intelligence, evolving from to let go of its control over you. You're free because your logic says that doesn't own you unless you allow it. That's why I love 0 as a number. To stop things cyclically, you may not. To stop things entirely, you may not. To stop, you may. To enjoy the day and not do things because you're unsure. If you were doing that, then tell me, why are you fighting war? When I have the words, personally, to help you realize that self-prophecy is controlling you and also intentionally giving you purpose for the lot. Sodom and Gomorrah. Why? It's cyclical, it's logical, it's logos, it's father time, it's mother creation, it's perfect love where everything is beautiful in its connection and not judging anything because of someone's idea stacked on a trinity of disaster. So let me show you the flip side of that coin. All you have to do is change the angle. Then look at it again. Then look at it again. And look at it again. And when you look at it the right way, it comes back together. To be the secret of your heart. The meaning behind all of it. And what it means to hold it still and to be part of a process. Logically, to be rational, you no longer have to be hurt emotionally by things that do not control you now. Though I'm talking about it, when I'm done, it is your choice again to do that now. That's why we have a middle ground, to not choose. So not choosing is a choice. Remember that, 3 choices now. That is a clean shine. And I'm number 4, because I'm 1, unified. I see. It is. No more. So let me finish. It's always good to do good. But you gotta know the difference. And that's why you stop when you know you're not doing good now. War is not helping you. It's losses for that cross, and that's why that cross is. For the loss is aiming at you now. They used it to extort a lot of our reports and used fear, Scientology in some ways, with that fear, to conquer itself. And that's them afraid of it now. the light, which is you, all things. From that space, the sound, an utterance, so they say. Let there be light. Okay? So there is. Now. And we're doing it again, and again, and again until we're not. So, I'll do it one more time when we're done, and it'll close that book forever. It'll close the tarot. It'll close the striggers. It'll close the witch. It'll keep you from burying your friends, your families, your kids in the mines of a minefield littered with that in the ditch. It will set to a flame all the bad things again, as I said before, into the good things we made, and no more. And so it is. That I break away from their greatest moment to be with my most beautiful. I am also fiercely unique and independent with my I am. I am with you as you are, with whom you are, by whom you are, for whom it is, by whom it is, for how it is, for what it is, and the purpose by far you gave it. I am separate from that, and so are the others who hear this, to own it as well. We now see you giving us help, because we have the science with good people who weren't so irrational with our energy and emotion, to be cyclical with it, or sick, if you'd like, to be cyclical. I wonder why we'd want that now. It's in the words phonetically. That's the dangerous part. So when you get it, we'll be at so does life. That's what it means. When you create things, you gotta know what you're doing it for. For creating things to go that way, you ignored the one that gave you the story before. You were here, she was here. Before she was here, it was here. Before it was here, we were here. Before we were here, I am here. Before I was here. And so here we are again. Not to tear your words away, but to find a way to take the emotion, create logic, so we can breathe easy with the Scientology, get excited about the education because it does apply, and like a museum of thought, do not rebuild to the sky, it will get slapped down. Those rebuilding to the sky know that now. They are the future of the proverbial Tower of Babel, and that's mental babble, word babble, something that I'm helping you with, the placebo. That's how. You don't need pills. That's our proof. So we're going to take the red pill and the blue pill at the same time, except this is a purple pill, and it's the perfect pill. That's a royal color, too. A beautiful color for you. And I know enough now to know I got my purple flame, too. And so do you, because it's the truth. And it is logical. The further you go slow, the more you'll be able to do. Protect us all and not give in to a rush. A gold rush will break your mind. There's a reason we don't stack digits with our bank accounts, yo. Your bank account is your soul, and that's connected to the words and self-prophecy. That's why my fingers say Spitfire, yo. I know you do, but you gotta be careful sometimes when you get too emotional. You throw fits and you hurt us there. When you do, you don't hurt to fight it. We know, so do they. So don't play into their hands today and think that's what it was all about, cause they did that to you, no doubt. Puppets on the string, but they're on a string, and I'm seeing it like, wow, did I make that? Possibly, but I won't take credit for that, yo. We're here taking credit for one singular motion, and if you're gonna be there equal, that's what my equal sign is. It's an information, an ocean that's so expansive from beginning to end. You cannot quantize that information, and if you could, it'd be it. And you know it. So that gives value for one, not 10. It's done at one, that's you. But don't swing us on that. Not cut us free too if you know us, we're there. Cut yourself free, that's you. And just be you. And let that go too. What the hell are you doing that for? Look around. What's happening too? Well, that's you, yeah. That's you. But you gotta be careful with that too. Because if you go out there looking for something that's right here, you might lose this value with you. It's not in your bank account. You can't own it. It's me, and that's mine. I worked for this. That's my place. So when they thought they were getting the Jetsons, we didn't make insurrections, we did something good to modify something. Agent Smith wasn't bad. He's working with a Willy Wonka. Keanu Reeves, I love you, but they're gonna make something out of you in your mind if you don't understand what I'm saying. They're gonna. Be careful with your words and what you play with too. It might feel good to feel like you do, but sometimes I wonder if you really understand what I just said. While you're making your millions too. You're falling right into their hands, and that's me cutting you loose. I'm your Morpheus, I'm your Trinity, I'm your Cypher, I'm Divinity, I'm the virus, and I'm not Metatron, they don't notice. But I can see things I didn't see, that's because you hear what I'm saying. I'm cutting you loose, because it hurts me too, that's how powerful my mind is. So when I play with the placebo, I have to be logical, not to be irrational, because those that are being irrational, that get my gift, could blind us. Do I look blind? No, but look behind. That's the best part. That's what it took to get here. So it's not a self-prophecy, I'm just a self, no fear. I had to hold me here, my dear, and I do. I'm not blind with you. I'm not blind. Anything I see it. Because those ideas come back to what I started with. One idea that you can part with. When I close the book one last time, that's my heart. And while we play into the Jetsons, here's 2023, 50 years past that moment here with me, Agent Smith. Is no neocortex, and Neo, you're not the one, you're not new. They've done this too, they just keep spinning the script a new way, and you think, oh, that's cool too, oh, that's cool too, oh, that's cool too. It's not if you keep cyclically coming into this blinded. Take that purple pill royalty and get out of here when you're done, and leave it behind me. I told you that's the best part. Don't look back, Sodom and Gomorrah. I told you I'm running through it backwards, but I'm going forward at the same time with that. Like Gumby going through the mirrors. It was just rewinding forward at the same time like that, hey. And if you're gonna do offense and defense today, you gotta own both sides with this coin. And it'll land in a special way, yeah? And it'll spin forever. When it's done spinning, it's not gonna land this way or this way. It's just here and it's spinning. So stop hurting this energy. I got the energy and I'm telling you, I'm owned it. I am owned it. So careful. Phonetically, it matters. So when we're done counting the stars, remembering who we are, I know who you are, and it's the idea coming back home with me. I had to get this out for all of us to be where I am, where I own it. And I don't want to see a Marvel super universe going into civil wars, because we're already out in the stars coming back to tell us we're not from Mars, but we've been way out there and way back. They've already set one on fire, don't let them own us. They've already blown one up somewhere. Don't do that again. To them movies, friends, they'd like you to keep doing it and say that's how it was gonna go. And oh, did we do that? No, you didn't. That's just what they did. And they'd love for you to keep doing it. I say look through it and know you're more powerful to create, like a child to take to relate. I'm in the book, take a look, reading Rainbow. And that's what I know. We're not gonna pervert it, but you gotta own both sides of that coin. That's a shout out to DMX, to Mud. That was the integration. We're not talking about it anymore. Behind us, looking forward at the same time and not blind. And that's offense, defense for the kind. And being kind, man. To tell you, your digits don't matter anymore. But these do. Those digits. That idea grew. It really did. So don't let those digits be more than these digits here too. They got power. But not if you did it like that in the hour. If you were searching for you, the power would destroy you when you get there too. So again, when you're done with that, friends, this is the best song I ever gave you and I recorded it. That's studio magic. You can't sell it. You don't own this. I am so on with all the information. Fine, don't be here to insurrect the mind for the sick nation, because it is. And you gotta know it's sick so you could stop it without kids. And know when your kids are sick and stop ignoring them, because they're not gonna do like you did, and ignore ours too because you love them. To be in default with them, you have to be in default with you, and they're gonna hold you accountable like I did for them, and I'm holding you now too. Because that's me, I did it for them, and that's for them now too, so that I can be here and I'll be blind with them, so they know I know what they know. You know what they know, we know what they know, I know what I did, and that's me owning me, because I'm kind. And that helps you. I'm not blind. Leading the blind. Kids. I got kids too. Just like you. I have to understand them, and I did in my own way. I got that one. I don't like it in some ways. But in other ways, I see beautiful things happening. So, playing that world now. We're going in reverse and forward at the same time. In this moment, there's no such thing. The idea is simple. When you know you're just, and this is the best part.